Gaslighting. Gaslighting isn't just lying, it's lying with the goal of rewriting your reality. It's when someone makes you question your own memory, perception, or sanity until you start apologizing for being too sensitive. They'll say things like, that never happened, or you always exaggerate, even when you're holding the receipts. Psychologically, gaslighting is a defense mechanism. It's how fragile egos protect themselves from guilt. Admitting fault threatens their self-image, so instead, they twist the story until they're innocent and you're unstable. It's emotional damage control disguised as logic. And your brain? It hates uncertainty. When someone confidently denies your version of events, your mind literally tries to merge both stories to reduce mental stress. That's called cognitive dissonance. Over time, the gaslighter's certainty feels safer than your confusion, so your brain starts choosing comfort over truth. That's not weakness, that's survival biology being hijacked. Love bombing. Love bombing is what happens when someone treats you like a celebrity on day 1 and a ghost on day 10. It's not love, it's manipulation wearing a Valentine's costume. They shower you with affection, gifts, and compliments so overwhelming you start wondering if they've confused you with someone famous. But the truth is, they're not building a connection, they're building control. Psychologically, love bombing comes from insecurity and fear of abandonment. The manipulator creates intensity fast because genuine intimacy takes time, and they don't want time, they want attachment. Flooding you with attention activates your brain's reward system, releasing dopamine and oxytocin, the same chemicals behind addiction and bonding. You literally become hooked on their validation. And that's the point. Once you're chemically invested, they pull away, leaving your brain craving the next hit. You start chasing the person who broke the connection, confusing withdrawal for love. It's not romance that keeps you coming back. It's neurochemistry dressed up as destiny. Guilt tripping. Guilt tripping is emotional blackmail with better manners. It's when someone twists your empathy into obedience, making you feel bad for things you didn't actually do wrong. They don't ask you to do something, they make you want to make it up to them. You'll hear lines like, I just thought you cared more, or, after everything I've done for you. And suddenly, you're apologizing for having boundaries. Psychologically, guilt tripping works because it hijacks your need for social harmony. Humans evolved to cooperate. Our brains release discomfort chemicals, like cortisol, when we think we've upset someone in our group. Manipulators exploit that. They create artificial guilt so you'll fix a problem that doesn't exist. Your brain's anterior cingulate cortex, which processes both social pain and physical pain, can't tell the difference between I hurt someone's feelings and I stubbed my toe. That's why guilt feels heavy, literally painful. But here's the secret. Not all guilt is earned. If someone constantly frames kindness as debt, they're not asking for empathy, they're collecting payment. Playing the victim. Playing the victim is manipulation disguised as misery. It's when someone turns every situation, even the ones they caused, into a story where they're the wounded hero. They don't take responsibility, they collect sympathy points. You'll confront them about something they did, and somehow, 5 minutes later, you're the one saying sorry while they're emotionally recovering. Psychologically, this behavior is about ego preservation. Taking accountability feels like danger to someone with fragile self-worth. Admitting fault threatens the story they tell themselves, that they're a good person. So their brain performs emotional gymnastics to flip the blame and keep that identity intact. It's a form of self-serving bias, where the mind protects the ego by rewriting events to avoid guilt. Your brain, meanwhile, runs on empathy. Mirror neurons make you feel what others feel. So when they cry, your biology reacts before your logic can. That's why you end up comforting them instead of holding them accountable. But remember, empathy is not the same as responsibility. You can feel someone's pain without volunteering to carry it for them. Projection. Projection is the psychological version of throwing your trash into someone else's yard and then complaining it's messy. It's when a person accuses you of the very thing they're guilty of, lying, cheating, manipulating, not because you did it, but because they can't stand seeing it in themselves. At its core, projection is a defense mechanism, the brain's way of avoiding shame. When someone's self-image collides with uncomfortable truth, their subconscious ejects that guilt like a hot potato and tosses it at whoever's closest. It's emotional outsourcing. Freud first described it as the mind's way of protecting itself from internal conflict, but in real life it just looks like relentless blame shifting. The science behind it is surprisingly simple. The amygdala lights up when we feel threatened, even by our own behavior. To quiet that alarm, the brain pushes the blame outward. You, the target, end up on defense while they walk away calm and validated. The next time someone accuses you of something absurdly specific, pause before defending yourself. You might be listening to their confession, just in second person. Triangulation. Triangulation is what happens when a manipulator can't control you directly, so they bring in a third person to do it for them. It's emotional chess. They pit people against each other to keep everyone guessing and themselves in charge. You'll hear things like, well, they said this about you, or I'm just trying to help you two get along, right before they light the match and walk away from the fire. The psychology behind triangulation is indirect control. Direct confrontation risks rejection or exposure, so the manipulator spreads influence sideways. In relationships, it might be an ex, a friend, or even a neutral family member pulled in to create jealousy or tension. In workplaces, it's gossip disguised as diplomacy. The manipulator thrives on the attention and confusion it creates because chaos keeps them relevant. Your brain's social circuitry makes this tactic effective. Humans fear exclusion more than pain. Rejection activates the same regions of the brain as physical injury. So when you hear that someone might be turning against you, panic takes over logic. That's the hook. The cure? Go direct. Ask the other person yourself. Triangulation collapses instantly under transparency, because truth doesn't need a middleman. Silent treatment. The silent treatment isn't peace, it's punishment. It's when someone withholds communication not to cool off, but to control. They ignore your texts, act like you don't exist, and leave you desperate to fix something you didn't even break. It's emotional starvation disguised as maturity. Psychologically, it's rooted in avoidant and narcissistic tendencies. The silent partner feels powerful while dodging vulnerability. It's classic operant conditioning. When you behave, they reward you with attention. When you don't, they withdraw it. The message, love and approval are conditional. Your brain, meanwhile, panics. The anterior cingulate cortex, which processes both physical and emotional pain, reacts as if you've been hurt. Rejection literally hurts. Cortisol spikes, stress floods in, and you start chasing closure just to stop the ache. That's how the silent treatment wins. Not through logic, but biology. The cure, calm detachment. Don't chase silence, protect your peace. Good cop, bad cop. Good cop, bad cop isn't just a police tactic, it's emotional manipulation with better lighting. One person, or sometimes the same one switching roles, stresses you out, then another swoops in as the comforting savior. You drop your guard, feel grateful for the nice one, and boom, you've been trained. Psychologically, it works through stress response cycling. Under pressure, your brain releases cortisol. When tension suddenly eases, dopamine floods in as relief. That contrast between fear and comfort creates instant attachment, the same loop behind trauma bonds and addictive relationships. Your brain links the person to safety, forgetting they caused the chaos. When stress spikes, the amygdala takes over and logic shuts down. Manipulators exploit that glitch. They break your calm, then sell it back as kindness. The fix? Awareness. If someone keeps playing both angel and villain, step out of the script. The story ends when you stop playing your part. Manipulation isn't magic. It's psychology with bad intentions. Once you spot the patterns, you stop being the experiment. Which of these tricks have you seen the most in real life? Comment below and hit subscribe for more brain-decoded behavior.